No entry.
Listen.
Huh?
The council leader Van Buren ordered a magical slate.
So?
I meant to deliver it.
So?
I need to get into her office.
Van Buren isn't there.
I know, I just have to leave it on her desk.
How are you going to do that without her head?
Oh, forget it. I have to drop this off.
What is it?
A present for Chantal Van Buren. She requested it.
Take it away!
I would have taken it into the staff room, but as you don't want to let me in there...
Are you my mummy?
No.
I love you.
Make it stop!
Shall we sing a song? Oh, I love having a friend.
Turn it off!
Oh, she'll stop of her own accord in a few days' time.
I need potty.
I'll smash
And
it!
what would the little Chantal say about you destroying her new toy? You know, Chantal, the queen of pink and fluffy.
Blackmail, eh? That ain't gonna work with me. Ha! I can't hear anything.
As far as I know, you just need to throw a bit of this powder into the fireplace and then get in it. Right then, bit of powder into the fire. Am I thinking of the right symbols? Those appear to have been the right symbols.
I think we've been discovered. Shh.
Hello? I'm not going to harm you. Wilbur told me of this library.
Wilbur? Is he well?
He disappeared suddenly.
He had to go underground. Supernatural forces now have the say in the school.
Ach, we know that. We looked through a crack in the door and saw that terrible woman and her daughter.
They didn't exactly look like intellectuals.
If the Van Burens discover this library, then you'll have to prepare yourself for a future of being coloured in with crayons. Don't worry, we won't let it come to that. However, to prevent it, I have to get into the staff room.
Then go. Courage stands at the beginning of a task and luck at the end.
An impressive library. No wonder the medicine book was so disappointed with the library in the Elf Burrow. Why is there a fire here? Did you light it?
No, that was Wilbur.
But that must have been days ago.
We thought it was strange too. Hey, Wilbur must be a mighty spellcaster if a fire he conjured up burns for so long.
A nice mighty spell, maybe. But from Wilbur? Unlikely. It's a good thing the library can disguise itself. Riots and revolutions are all too often accompanied by burning books. Excuse me?
How can we help you, O friend of the friend of books?
Can I cast a spell on a ghost?
I don't know. Are you some kind of ghost whisperer?
No.
So why ask me when you know you can't?
No, can you tell me how to cast a spell on a ghost?
Ah, well that's completely different. We have several good books on grammar here.
Look, thank you, but I'm really just interested in casting a spell at the moment.
I know all about that.
Excellent. So how do I do it? To be precise, I need to trap or render the ghost incapable of movement.
I think what you need is a magic circle. That's a symbol that you draw onto the ground. Ghosts are incapable of leaving this kind of circle, at least not for a while.
Sounds good. Do these symbols get drawn with blood or salt or something of that sort?
Actually, most people use chalk. But I'm sure you could use blood as well, if that's what you're really into. It's not really important how the symbols get onto the ground. It's a square with a circle over it that has to have exactly the same surface area, and a right-angled triangle must be placed into the circle.
Sounds like something out of a mathematics book.
Ha! Mathematics. This is about science, not some kind of hocus pocus.
Oi! I heard that! What was that about the magic circle again? One has to draw a symbol under the ghost.
Won't matter one iota whether you draw it or carve it into stone or whatever. Just get it onto the ground under the ghost in some shape or form. As long as the ghost finds itself over a square with a circle and a triangle, it will be trapped.
Okay, got it. I have to go.
Bonne chance! What's that wonderful saying? Better to be an ignorant traveller than to be wise and to sit at home.
Wait a minute. She is travelling and we are sitting here.
I've never been a big fan of hanging dead animals on the wall or laying them out on the floor. I'd much prefer them running around in a wood. The workplace of a bookbinder, I think. I can practically still smell the troll snot. Ugh. Right then, very carefully. Hasn't noticed anything. Now, must be really quiet. Our idiot guard can't hear anything anymore. I better get the Archmage out of the staff room as quickly as possible. According to Wilbur, the door's locked, and it'll only open when the headmaster says the code. After you, Headmaster.
469. 41.
Have a good evening, Headmaster, Madam.
Well, my little one, have they been treating you well? I'll get you out of here. I just have to take care of something first. Very unlikely that a fire will be burning in that fireplace anytime soon. I wonder if all these transformations can be reversed when Wilbur finds a way of destroying the magic wand. I must admit, there was probably a time when I would have thought these sort of toys very exciting. But I was probably only 80 or 90 years old then. I can't leave Buttercup behind. She may be a creation of the little Van Buren, but she's my pink-coloured love-hearty hippogriff girl. Ah! Lucky the council leader hasn't noticed that I've cleared the entrance to the rat hole. She wouldn't appreciate the rats having access to her headquarters. Lots of papers, feather quills. This is interesting. A signet ring with the seal of the council leader. It's used to make laws and decrees official and identifiable. That means that until the council leader discovers it, I can pretty much pass any new law that I want. The jar's been fastened to the cupboard with heavy and presumably magic chains. I wonder if... Aha! Archmage Alistair, are you well? I can't understand you. Blink once for yes and twice for no. Ooh, what does no blinks mean? Hang on, can frogs even blink? I think we'll need to sort this out later. I'm getting you out of here. Right then, a new law. By order of the council leader, with immediate effect, all pregnant elves must be treated with the greatest respect by everyone. In particular, it is forbidden to call them fat, to poke fun at them, or to try and kill them with an axe. Anyone breaking this law will be banished from the town. That makes it law. Right then, a new law. Two adult humans, dwarves, elves, or any other beings capable of rational thought are allowed to marry whomsoever they please, and in any combination. Only prerequisite, love. No one will be forced to marry a pompous ass just because he's a rich prince and mother thinks that I'm getting a bit long in the tooth. Perhaps not the best phrased law of all time, but what the heck. Right then, a new law. By order of the council leader, whosoever wishes to inhale the smoke of dried plants may do so for medical reasons. Furthermore, they are permitted to do so in order to write bad poetry or talk utter nonsense. That's for Arbor, should he ever come to town. Right then, a new law. By order of the council leader, with immediate effect, the wearing of magic protective amulets is forbidden. Well, I don't actually need a reason, just because. Whoever is caught with such an amulet will be punished with severe cuteness for at least 6 months. Right, with seal and everything. Making new laws is fun, but as they won't be enforced, I'd really better concentrate on doing the more serious stuff. She can come with me as soon as I've finished here. She can wait in the town. OK, Buttercup, you have to be really quiet now. No, quiet. OK, let's go. I said quietly, Buttercup. No, the troll was not your friend. He was trying to kill us. No, I'm pretty sure that he didn't just want to play when he started hacking at us. Be that as it may, Archmage Alistair is safe now. As soon as Wilbur has rescued Remy and knows how we can destroy the wand, we'll need to leave as quickly as possible. Morning's approaching, and in all probability this'll be the day that we see the return of a very, very frustrated council leader. Hello, Sloth. Blout.
Ah, Princess Ivo.
I'm sorry to have to say this, but you are a criminal, Blout.
Blout not criminal. Blout stands here like good little ogre and sells strange things.
You're wearing an amulet, and that's against the law.
What it say?
By order of the Merchant Council leader, and with immediate effect, the wearing of magical protection is forbidden because... well, I don't need any reason, just because. Whoever is caught with such an item is to be punished with severe cutification for a minimum of 6 months.
Huh? No! Blout don't want to be little girl with pigtails. Got to escape, love.
Well, perhaps you can ask the friendly law enforcement officer to turn a blind eye.
Who's eye blind?
What he means, Blout, is if you are really sorry about this and you can see you've made a mistake, then maybe the daughter of the council leader doesn't need to hear about it.
Sorry, very wrong.
I will, however, need to confiscate the amulet so that you won't be tempted to wear it in secret.
Confiscate. Take away.
Oh, sure. You don't tell little girl, right? Blout want to stay, Blout.
I'll keep it for myself. Wilbur?
Yes?
I've got an amulet for you. It shows the magic circle symbol.
Is it magic?
Not in the slightest. But it shows the symbol you have to draw on the ground underneath the ghost to trap him.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
I've saved Archmage Alistair. Or the frog that we think is Archmage Alistair.
Cracking! Is he alright?
Yeah, he's okay. Got a few bumps and bruises. But it wasn't because I dropped him a couple of times fighting the troll together with a hippogriff or anything like that.
Ivo? Did you just say you rode a hippogriff into battle against a troll?
The Archmage is safe, okay? That's all for now.
See you later. I'll sneak back over to the island. Now I know what awaits me there. Maybe I can find a place to hide while I suss out the situation. Or maybe I can even go to get Remy without being noticed. Looks like a mirror. I'm not sure. Maybe the cultists required either sun or moonlight for certain rituals and used the mirrors to reflect it down here. The beam of moonlight really emphasizes just how dark it is down here. What a dreadful creature. The ghost lured Remy into a trap and now it's using me to get the magic wand. Oh, Remy. If I'd have gone with you, this never would have happened. Or if it had, I could have got help. This mirror's broken. No trace of the shards. No idea how far down it goes. The cellar master spoke of caves and crevices reaching hundreds, sometimes thousands of meters down into the ground. That's probably the strange machine that cultists wanted to use for things. Doesn't look like it's been used recently. The hand mirror is, of course, much smaller than the mirror that was in there before, but it should be enough for a small beam of light. The light doesn't seem to bother him. He hasn't moved from the spot. If I put the medallion on the mirror, then the shadow might... It works! Yes! The ghost can't leave the magic circle. I have to get to Remy, quick. Remy!
Good idea, using the magic circle, Wilbur. But it won't hold him off for long.
Okay, but we gotta get out of here quick.
No.
No?
It's too late, Wilbur. The trap is probably the only thing holding me together.
Come on, Remy. Don't give up. Timmy needs you. Pull yourself together.
Do you think I'd leave him on his own if there was another way? For Timmy's sake, let's not waste the little time that's left. I found out what's going on with the wand.
What about the wand?
There were two brothers, powerful sorcerers. They amassed much wealth and power with the help of dark knowledge. They searched and found this temple. One of them went insane and left town. The other was killed by my grandfather.
Remy!
Shortly before the brother's death, he transferred all of his power to a wand. That power would only be unleashed if a blood descendant held the wand in their hands.
And one of the creators still guards his machine as a ghost.
No. My grandfather must have encountered the sorcerer by coincidence. He realized what the sorcerer's plan was and defeated him. He gave his life and never left the temple again.
You mean?
He guards the wand. Didn't want it to find its way into the hands of the descendant of the sorcerer. This place is evil, Wilbur. It changes people. The wall between our world and the dungeon dimension is particularly thin here. The influence of the Nameless One is strong. I think my grandfather has forgotten who he was. He only exists to protect the wand.
You found the wand and gave it to me, but I don't understand.
Wilbur, in everyday life, the sorcerers were merchants. Their surname was Van Buren. Sybil married Montgomery Van Buren, the sorcerer's youngest son. Her daughter, Chantal, has a Van Buren blood flowing through her veins.
The first time the wand acted strangely was in the classroom. It must have sensed Chantal.
And when Chantal got her hands on it, she received all her grandfather's secret powers, but not his knowledge.
How can we destroy the wand?
It's explained in the second brother's book of spells. He spent his final years mentally deranged in the dark woods.
And the one brother came up with a way to break the other's power if it ever became necessary.
Yes. You must find the book and destroy the wand, Wilbur. Go now, my friend.
Remy!
The resistance needs a leader, and I know of no greater fighter for good than you. Give this to Timmy. Please, look after him.
What happened? Where's Uncle Remy? I'm so sorry. No, but you said you'd bring him back. I tried.
All set to go? They're waiting down by the gate.
All right. And Timmy?
Esther and Nate are taking care of him.
Okay, you really are quite sure?
Yes. Remy said the key to the wand's destruction lies in the dark woods. And his death shall not be in vain.
No, it shan't be. I just don't know if we should split up. We're a good team together.
You look after the Archmage, I'll search for the book. Van Buren can't chase us both.
You're right. She'll be beside herself when she notices that the Archmage is gone.
Any idea how to bring him back?
Not the slightest, but I know how to find out.
How?
An oracle told me. I'll have to help a friend and will not know what to do. I must then find a flying pirate island and on it a building without corners.
Then that's your path. Come on, Gulliver. Let's go and see what Timmy's up to.
Yep. Good luck. Look after yourself.
And we should put as much distance between us and Seastone before the old witch realises what's happened.
Come on then, Buttercup. We're trying to find a flying pirate island. That's where we'll find the answers. Too many questions. Cheep, here you are at last. We're looking for a flying island. Try to keep up this time.
It's quite fascinating how you can get other people to work for you if you know the right buttons to press. Your services are no longer needed.
You're going to bring the Nameless One back to this world!
Nonsense. Only an idiot or a lunatic would try something like that.
And I am neither.
It was a long flight, and it looks like I'm getting heavier and heavier to boot. Have a rest, but stay close by. The oracle said that it was to be found in a building without corners on a flying island. And Tugator's the only flying island that I know. Let's hope we find a few answers here. A flying ship? Just as one would expect on a flying pirate island. I could swear... Oh no, is that the Mary? That means... Oh no. If the Mary's here, then he can't be far away. Seeing him is the last thing I need right now. If the Mary... Oh, that's deep. I wouldn't like to fall down there. I wonder what exactly brought the oracle to a place like this. A flying island full of pirates. Not the safest place to reveal some hard truths. Buttercup bravely fought her way through the winds on the way here. Now she's exhausted. She's earned a little downtime. Haven't a clue what happened to the jetty. But I've got a pretty good idea who might have been responsible for it. Strange. Why are water snails stuck to the jetty here? Perhaps they thought it's a jetty, and every jetty must have snails, whether it's standing in water or hanging in midair. I know these snails. They're called purple snails. They emit a smelly substance to defend themselves, which turns purple in air. It's used as a dye for colouring things. I better leave the snails in peace. I don't want to get purple fingers. A pretty battered pan. Looks like it survived an explosion. There are crusty bits of salt left inside there. What's going on there, then?
Furthermore, you stole the prosecutor's fez, beat him unconscious, and damaged part of the island with magic.
We didn't beat that stupid monkey unconscious. He knocked himself out.
Silence in court! The defendant may only speak when asked to do so. And don't call the prosecutor a monkey.
May I inquire what's going on here?
Ivo?
Lovely to see you again, Critter.
Fat? Who's fat?
Oh, shut the grog up! This is a trial, not a bloody circus.
Let me ask again. What's going on here?
Critter and I were arrested for no reason whatsoever.
I wasn't talking to you.
Idiots. Those two tried to steal my magic lamp and then damage the island. They also abused my friendship and wanted to leave me here on my own, like everyone else.
The ugly one's renowned for it.
Ah, enough. Those two will be judged fairly and squarely.
Then I demand a lawyer.
Silence in court, you spawny wazzock.
The Red Pirate, I presume.
You've heard of me.
Nate's mentioned you several times.
Only bad things, I hope.
Mainly that you sent the bounty hunter after him because you wanted your ship back.
The Mary is not his ship. I won it from him fair and square.
You cheated.
Of course. I just cheated better than you. Fair and square.
Silence in court, you spawny wazzock. And that's contempt of court.
Apparently there's a near-omniscient oracle on this island.
That's right, but people who aren't from here usually talk to him through mirrors.
Just guessing, but is it in that round building over there?
That's right and all. And you're not here because you want to steal from me? Or to rescue your friends?
No, definitely not.
We don't even want to be rescued.
You boys just carry on playing on your own.
Now listen here, young lady. This is a matter of death. Or a more painful, slower death.
Come on, Ivo. I can barely feel my hands anymore.
Don't you dare! You left without so much as a word, you human!
Perhaps you'd like to be the prosecutor instead, me dear?
What is that?
Oh, that! It's not what it looks like.
Not what it... Have you swallowed a watermelon?
All right, I'm pregnant. But I have not...
No sooner am I gone than you're all over the next guy that comes along.
I haven't been all over anyone. And you just scarpered off.
But just because... I'm not pregnant!
Just leave me alone, Nate Bonnet. I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Quiet! Defendants are only allowed to cry out in despair when required.
A rag shop. I really don't like fussy clothes like the ones Mother always tried to make me wear, but I couldn't go this far. There must be some kind of middle ground, surely. Headscarves for bald pirates, swashbuckling patches, ripped rope for a belt. No, I can't be doing with any of this. Wait a minute, what's this? A hook could come in handy. Nate often spoke of this island. He spent his childhood in New Old Town, but it was always his ambition to come here. Tugator, the Flying Pirate Island. It was the place where a boy from the streets could make something of himself. For all I care, he can spend the rest of his life on this rock. A rope. I bet it's good quality. Pirates know about that sort of thing. No pirates to be seen. Just these stone figures everywhere. There are no traces of any tool marks on them. The surfaces are too perfect. I don't like the look of this. Pictures of ships, pictures of women with malfunctioning clothes, and a petition. Nothing much of interest here. No pirates to be seen. Just these stone figures everywhere. There are no traces of any tool marks on them. The surfaces are too perfect. I don't like the look of this. I'm not cross with Critter. He did disappear without a word like Nate, but he belongs to Nate. Where Nate is where you'll find Critter. For example, in the stocks in a trial. Critter'll be all right. Won't matter what the outcome. He's a clever cookie and he'll probably save Nate. He didn't even hear me out. He simply disappears, he gets involved with some dodgy deal or other, and then he tries to make me feel guilty. I'm not going to bail him out. Let Critter help him. The door's locked. The prosecutor would appear to be a bit out of his depth with the trial. At least he doesn't give me the impression of being particularly professional. If there was a jury, the prosecutor would need only to put me in the witness box for a minute. That would ensure that Nate would get no mercy. Leaving a pregnant young woman in the lurch with no explanation, not something that makes a defendant look good. Nate talked a lot about his old nemesis, the Red Pirate. One of Old Red's bounty hunters must have got hold of him. I mean, not even Nate would be stupid enough to come here of his own free will. Excuse me, Your Honour, Judge?
Yes?
A judge cheating at cards? Tut tut.
That's not true. Pirate poker is a dice game. And I don't cheat. In the past, maybe, but this is the new Tugator. It's all about law and order now.
In pirate poker, you play for high stakes, right? I mean, if we play and I win, then you owe me something, right?
Theoretically. In reality, however, I will win, and you will owe me something.
What, for example?
If I win, then you have to stay on Tugator for a year and keep me company.
Ugh. And what if I win?
How about...
Your best friend's life?
No. I'd prefer something real I can hold on to.
an elegant pirate outfit? Clothes and a hat and all the trimmings.
That sounds good. Agreed. So what are the rules?
The easiest way to explain it is by playing a practice round. We each have got a cup with 5 dice. The dice have the numbers 1 to 5 on them. The 6th side is a star that can be any number, like a joker. Roll.
But this is just a practice game, right?
Aye, this game doesn't count. Like in normal poker dice, you can throw a pair, 2 pairs, 3 of a kind, a full house, a straight and so on.
Okay, got it.
I've got a full house. Do you believe me?
Of course not. You're a pirate.
Not so fast. If I lift up my cup and I haven't lied, you've lost. So think about it. Am I telling the truth?
You're lying.
Bad luck. I wasn't lying. You would have lost. But let's just pretend that didn't happen. Now you have to tell me what you've rolled. You can tell me the truth or lie. The most important thing is you say something higher than me. You can also pick up any number of dice and roll them again. Just once, before you tell me what you've got on the table. So, put the dice in the cup and roll again, or tell me what you've got. What's it gonna be?
I've got 5 of a kind.
You're lying. See those stones? You get 1 for each round you win. The first to have 3 is the winner. Ready to roll?
I haven't got time for games.
Oh, whatever.
I think I've interrupted the court proceedings long enough.
True. Now, where was I?
I guess this key will unlock the stocks. If I was planning to set them free, I'd be interested. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't take the key with the red pirate sitting there. Something round under a cloth. It's moving. I wonder what's under that cloth there.
It's the horror. The horror.
Old Red won't spill the beans. Guards that thing as if it was his biggest treasure.
A deserted island that should be swarming with pirates. A few stone statues. The only survivor is a collector of magical artifacts, hiding something the size of a head under a cloth. Let me guess. The head of Medusa?
Aye. She's dreadful.
I knew that. I was just testing you.
The little bit of water remaining in the trough looks very dirty, like a pig's been wallowing in it.
It was me.
Then I'll leave it to you for the punchline. Pirates don't have much of an eye for beauty. They are, however, very practical. Everything that pirates might want is growing here, from potatoes to hemp plants. I'm not hungry, amazingly, and I don't want to plait a hemp rope either. I'm not hungry. A house with no corners. Got to be it. A hatch in the wall. Nothing. A bottle, something like potato crisps and toilet paper? Enemax, the energy drink. Provides energy to the max, +2 endurance, -2 intelligence. The stuff seems to consist practically of just water, sugar and colouring. And now do I have to actually go and get hold of all this stuff just to get in there? My feet hurt. It's too hot in here, and I've just had a row with my ex. Woe betide you if your information is not any use. The building's got no windows at all. This door appears to be the only way in. Right then, the bottle's full. Potatoes for potato crisps. Well, it's a start. That should do. not sure what sort of colouring should go into one of these energy drinks, but what's to say that purple wouldn't do the trick? Your defence strategy doesn't work too well now, does it? Whoa, relax, little guy. I've got what I need. The colouring's going in the bottle. I should be able to attach the hook to the rope. Right, that'll hold. It'd be simpler if I could still see my feet. We didn't fly a direct route from Seastone to the Elf Burrow. We made detours and explored Avantasia. Once we spent 3 days and nights drifting over the ocean because Nate and Wilbur tried to give the engine a bit more power. It was wonderful. The peace, the sea, the moonlight, and the two engineers making things worse each day. A sticky-looking pot with, some sort of slime. We don't have any machines in the Elf Burrow, but Wilbur told me about how he was responsible for oiling and greasing all the machinery in the gnome hole. I imagine the stuff in this pot is the same sort of thing. When I saw Nate for the first time, he was sitting in this very cage. The bounty hunter Mazaz had captured him. He managed to convince me that he was a capable captain able to help me. I thought he was brazen and pompous and clumsy and somehow also very sweet. I shouldn't have got involved with him. The heart's a poor counsellor when it comes to matters of love. I don't know what happened to Mazaz. Nate somehow managed to outwit her in the wildlands. Perhaps she managed to capture him after all and brought him here. After we defeated the Archwitch, we returned to the temple where we'd left Mary. We flew her to Seastone and Nate fired off 3 salute shots. There were only a few injured. Nate and Critter aren't great believers in order. Ship shapes not to be found here. During my first days on the Mary, I tidied up after them. I soon gave up on that. That's Nate's lucky headscarf. He put it on during stormy weather. Critter and I used to poke fun at the fact that it was always a matter of luck every time he stepped behind the wheel. Buttercup's too tired to carry me any further. But I can't just steal the Mary. She and Nate are thick as thieves. She wouldn't obey me. Nate did explain the fundamentals of navigation to me. Well, he called it the fundamentals. I'm pretty sure that was all he knew, plus some stuff he made up on the spot to impress me.
Princess Ivo? What are you doing here?
Hello, Mary.
Are you here to break Captain Nate's heart again?
Did he tell you that? He left me, just like that.
But that's just ridiculous. He loves you. He left the ship full of hope, and 30 minutes later, he returned a different man. You said no, didn't you?
He was going to propose to me that night?
He had a ring and got himself a fine suit from the wardrobe. Yes, a proposal with all the bells and whistles. He was so nervous. He practiced the whole day. Asked me what I thought at least 100 times.
He didn't ask me once.
He didn't? I was convinced that our sudden departure was down to your refusing him. I said some horrible things about you. But Captain Nate wouldn't stand for it. When he left the cabin carrying the ring, that was the last time I saw him truly happy.
He just disappeared without a word. And I never got a marriage proposal.
But something must have happened. Otherwise, why would he have just left like that?
I woke up and wanted to go to him, but Mother told me that Nate had disappeared in the middle of the night with no explanation. I was sure that it was just a misunderstanding and that he'd come back, but he didn't.
Oh, sweetie, that is simply dreadful.
I was distraught, then angry, and after a while I started blaming myself. I'm a modern elf princess. Why am I acting like some silly little girl just because a bloke's left me? Why did you come to Tugator?
Captain Nate made a deal with a little bounty hunter in Bonzing. A gnome, I think. I hardly believed it when he gave me the course, but he said it was important. The most important thing in the world.
A wretched magic lamp was the most important thing to him, huh?
When Tugator appeared on the horizon, Nate let the bounty hunter put him in chains. Just like I was put in chains by the Red Pirate when we eventually reached the island. The next day, I felt the chain release itself. There was lots of shouting and noise, and ever since, I've wondered what was going on.
And then I came down the stairs.
Exactly. The princess who had given my captain so much heartache. Well, that's what I thought, at least.
Whatever the reason for him running, he shouldn't have just turned his back on me without explanation.
Not that I wish to defend him, but do you think he might have got cold feet because of your child? Oh, congratulations, by the way.
Oh, it's not his child.
What? You lying harlot! Go all doe-eyed at my Captain Nate and then go whoring around with someone else? And here's me, gullible Gertie, almost falling for your lies. Well, just you wait.
That's the same reaction Nate had. I have never and would never cheat on him. My pregnancy's a bit of a mystery to me as well. But hey, thanks for your support. We had a lot of fun with this wardrobe. Or more precisely with the costumes in it. We had fashion shows every evening. Wilbur and Critter looked hilarious. Ah, happy times. I'm not going to poke around the wardrobe. Too many memories. Critter puts huge quantities of sugar in his tea. He gets that from Nate. Neither of them understand the rationale behind drinking tea. One heats water, puts tea into it, and then pretends that it tastes of something. Sugar and milk are just an interference. A good handful. That should do. There's a whole heap of coal glowing in the oven. Perhaps not enough to give Mary some steam, but certainly enough to grill half a pig with strawberry jam and pickled gherkins. I really just say that. A ridiculous amount of sugar. Basis of many drinks. Okay, I'll cut the slices as thin as I possibly can. The thin potato slices get put into the pan, like this. I've left the skins on. That'll give extra flavour. Fat is used for cooking, but this? Whatever. The glowing coals in the oven are giving out a pleasant warmth. Right, high heat, boiling fat and thin potato slices. Should work. Oh yes, I can smell it already. Done. If I didn't know it was just my hormones talking, I could easily eat those. Now to add the crowning glory to the crisps. Salt. Ready. Nate always insisted he hadn't got rid of the Red Pirate's dressing table because it wouldn't fit through the hatch. However, my theory is he'd missed the mirror. Nate always insisted he... However... Chaos wherever you look. Nate is and always will be a pirate. Nothing's gonna change that. Mary's just like Nate. She jumps to the wrong conclusion and doesn't even give me a chance to explain myself. It's so unfair. Mary's just like Nate. It's... It appears that I have to get hold of a bottle of this strange energy drink, a few potato crisps, and toilet roll. Strange offerings. Enjoy. That's that then. That's Nate's favourite headscarf. I couldn't, could I? Have fun with it. then, open sesame! Are you taking the piss? I'm gonna do call and you can it up your you I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be getting so excited. Let's try that once again. If you don't open this door this instant, I will personally ensure that this building is smashed onto the rocks 3,000 metres below us. Then I will set fire to everything on this island and allow the island to crush your broken body. And after that, I'll get angry. I see we understand each other.
Don't go into the attic, you stupid cow! Oh, yes, strawberry tart. Don't go there, honey. He's only gonna cheat on you.
So you are this oracle?
Good guess, Princess Ivo. You're much shorter in real life.
What's this about offerings? Do you think I'm going to be your errand girl?
Well, you already have been. I can't leave this room. I offer a valuable service, and someone has to do my shopping. No, not that door. Right!
So, the pirates have provided you with everything you need to survive?
Correct. But then the Red Pirate went crazy and scared them all off the island. That's why I have to make do with coloured sugar water and disgusting crisps.
You ate that?
I had to. I have needs, you know. Oh, yes, marry her without a prenup. That's a great idea.
You told me in the elf burrow that I would come here, so you can see into the future. What's your game?
The mirrors show the future, or possible versions of the future.
Then why didn't you warn Wilbur or the Archmage what was going to happen?
How could I get their attention? Anyway, I only observe. I don't get involved. Oh, let him cry. He deserves it.
You're getting involved now.
But only because it's absolutely necessary. Oh, a boat! We're saved!
I've got the frog. I mean the Archmage.
I saw the battle! Spectacular! That little girl and Wilbur's wand. You couldn't make it up.
Is there a way of changing Master Alistair back?
Oh, that's not so easy. He hasn't just been turned into a frog. He is a frog now. Oh, don't go, Johnny. She needs you.
But he can be changed back, can't he?
Perhaps. His consciousness and his soul are in another place. But there is still a weak bridge connecting him to this world.
So there is hope?
Yes, but just a vague one. You have to... Wallop! Right between the eyes! That had to hurt!
How can we return the spirit of the Archmage to this world?
The Red Pirate has a magic compass. It always points in the direction of what you desire most. In the case of the Archmage, this is hopefully a way back. The lost Book of the Dead explains how to summon a spirit back into this world. But without a spark of life, he would die as soon as he returned.
A magic compass, a lost book, and a spark of life. Doesn't sound like a walk in the park.
That's why I lured you here.
Oh, no. Not him. No, 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 no.
You need them, Ivo. You won't manage this task without them.
You said that the Book of the Dead had disappeared. Are there any clues to where it is?
Well, it's in a place without mirrors. That much is clear. It was kept in the legendary desert city of Lorem Ipsum in the Umzu Desert. No more is known.
Lorem Ipsum? Now, where have I heard of that?
An ancient city that finally lost the battle against the sand.
I'll find it, and the Book of the Dead. I will get these 3 things and change the Archmage back. On my own.
No, you won't. I have seen a future in which you fail, Ivo. A future that you won't live to see.
Oh, but that's only one possible future.
True, but are you prepared to risk its occurrence just because Nate gets on your nerves?
Ha! He doesn't just get on my nerves.
I know, it's... What? That's never a valuable antique.
Very well. I'll get both of them out of there.
It's not that easy. You're forgetting the head.
The head of Medusa?
I've seen it. Fortunately, just through my mirrors. It's terrible. If you try to rescue Nate and the critter with all guns blazing, the Red Pirate will unveil the head, and then no magic in the world can save you.
Got any suggestions?
You have to win the court hearing.
Would that not strike you as somewhat improbable with that judge?
Not with the right defense strategy. I haven't heard that one before.
Hello? Stick to the point. How am I going to convince the Red Pirate of Nate's innocence? Considering the fact that I'm pretty certain that there's a case to answer on every single count.
Of course Nate did everything he's accused of. But was it his free will?
What do you mean?
Say someone is controlled by a voodoo curse and kills someone. Is he the murderer or the one controlling the doll? I wouldn't eat that salad.
What have voodoo dolls got to do with Nate and the theft of the lamp?
Act as his defense lawyer and tell the Red Pirate that Nate was controlled by a higher power. The rest will follow of its own accord.
That's insane.
Trust me, I can see through all mirrors. And anyway, I love courtroom dramas.
Oh, that's all well and good. The question is, can I trust you?
What kind of a question is that? No matter what I say, you still won't know.
Maybe you're just telling me these things because you're bored and want to create a bit of chaos.
There are always exciting things happening in this world. I just want it to stay that way.
What do you mean?
Turn the Archmage back to normal. He can tell you.
Okay, I'm just going to go now.
Shh! He's proposing to her!
Well, thanks for your help. It's very difficult to recognize anything at all in this mirror. Perhaps it's showing a future in constant motion? Would I like to know when I'll die? And what is going to become of this one? No. I believe that not knowing what the future will bring is part of life. Thousands of lives are being reflected in each mirror. I really shouldn't look, but there's such a powerful allure in watching other people go about their daily business. The Oracle said that the stories repeat themselves again and again. I think that's because people don't really change. Different places, different people, the same mistakes. Perhaps you could help me again.
Shush! This is getting exciting!
Excuse me, Your Honor, Judge?
Yes?
About pirate poker?
Yes?
Fancy a game of pirate poker?
Always! got 2 pairs. Do you believe me?
I believe you.
All right then. Roll again or tell me what you've got.
That's a full house.
You're lying.
That makes me the winner, I'd say. Two pairs.
I believe you. 3 of a kind. Do you believe me?
You're lying.
Oh, you lost. Next game. I got 2 pairs. Do you believe me?
I believe you.
All right then. Roll again or tell me what you've got.
Four of a kind.
I believe you. Got 5 of a kind. Do you believe me?
You're lying. Hey, I win again, right? Four of a kind.
You're lying.
Tell me, if I've got 3 stones and you've got none, what does that mean again?
You've cheated!
I didn't. And if you don't want anyone finding out about our little game, I wouldn't make a big fuss about it.
But, oh.
My winnings? Thanks. It was a pleasure. Excuse me, Your Honor, Judge?
Yes?
All defendants are entitled to a lawyer, are they not? I will be their lawyer.
Oh, really? Why not? Being the judge, I'm all for a fair trial. No one should be able to say, I sentenced them to death unjustly.
I don't know if I want to be represented by her.
Shut up, Nate. The accused is only allowed to talk when their lawyer tells them to.
Well, what do you have to say in their defense?
He is not responsible for his actions. He's being controlled by a higher power.
Oh, the voodoo doll defense.
Not at all. There is a higher power which controls him and all of us, I think.
Oh, yes.
Indeed. Behold the water jug.
Nah, that was the win.
No, that was the higher power.
If so, then it could get that coconut down from that tree. That is impossible.
Indeed.
You, turn around. Now go ask your higher power how many fingers I'm holding up.
It is 3 fingers.
That's witchcraft. Someone's watching me. They want to control me. And they want to drive me crazy. But they won't get me.
That was brilliant. How'd you do that?
I don't know.
You mean there really is a higher power controlling everything?
That can't be. Oh, higher power! If you are really there, make a green unicorn appear. See? Just a figment of imagination.
Huh. All right then, release me.
The head of Medusa is a dangerous weapon. Whole armies were stopped with it. I'd feel much happier if it wasn't in the ownership of an unstable pirate.
Come on, Critter, we're going.
Don't I even get a thank you?
I didn't ask for your help, and we would have managed fine on our own. Isn't that right, buddy? You see?
I could have just left you to rot in the stocks.
Maybe you should have. You're good at betraying your friends.
I have not betrayed anyone.
Critter, can you tell that person that the proof of her infidelity is clear enough for anyone to see?
Critter, tell this excuse of a pirate that I was not unfaithful to him. Even if I'd wanted to, I couldn't have been unfaithful to him. He left me.
Critter, tell her that I won't listen to this any longer.
Nate, it's about the Archmage and Wilbur.
What? What about them?
The Archmage has been cursed and Wilbur's wanted for murder.
That's nonsense. That little guy wouldn't hurt a fly.
We have to help them.
I can't. I can drop you off in Elfborough if you like.
That would be a start. The spark of life is there. My father has it.
Yeah. Let's just go.
Are you sure you'll be able to find the Elfborough? Right, someone's gonna have to go up to my father and ask him for the spark of life. Then we have to head off to find Lorem Ipsum. Hello?
I'm not going to help. That's your problem.
Well, I'm not over the moon about it either, but the Oracle did say that I needed friends in order to overcome the challenges that lie ahead of me.
Then I suggest you look for some. Farewell.
But you have to help me. I can't possibly meet Mother in this state. The gods only know what she'd do to me.
And quite rightly, too.
Oh, yeah? Then why don't you tell him yourself that you're going to desert him?
The frog?
That's Archmage Alistair. Didn't you listen to anything I said? And what about Wilbur?
I'm sorry. I can't. Boy, Critter, come on. Just look what she's done. Critter!
Critter! I knew that you wouldn't desert me. And that's good. Mother must under no circumstances see me like this.
I was informed of your arrival, Ivo.
Oh, hello, Mother.
I've been worried, child.
Well, I'm so sorry about that. But perhaps you should have a lie down and we'll talk about everything in the morning.
What is the matter with you? Why don't you turn around?
I'm just so happy to be back home. I've missed this view.
Why on earth did you go running after that human? I told him that he was to keep away from you.
You did what?
What have you?
Well, I can explain.
Not necessary.
Helping her. Why should I? Just turns up and what the hell is taking so long? Critter, come on, it's time to go. As soon as I've picked up Critter, I'm out of here. Perhaps we'll fly to... whatever. We're free. We can fly to wherever we want. As soon as I've picked up... perhaps... Mary was damaged recently, and I want to repair her. When I say recently, I mean about 2 years ago. But in my defense, I had to save the world in the meantime. I'll start the repairs tomorrow. But what can you do if there's a better use for the plank? Ivo's hippogriff doesn't seem very happy. Perhaps she's missing her rider. Or she's just hungry. Or both. The Elf Burrow is one of the most beautiful spots imaginable. But a golden prison is still a prison. The Elf Burrow is one of the... but a golden... The last time I used this thing, I blew a bounty hunter out of the sky. Nonetheless, Critter and I prefer to avoid a fight if we can and rely on our brains and good looks. When the Mary belonged to the Red Pirate, he didn't just use her for pleasure trips. They did some work now and again, as this cage proves. One of my goals in life is to never be a prisoner in my own cage again. Some gnome engineers wanted to fine-tune Mary in appreciation of our victory against Mortroga. But Mary doesn't like gadgets, and I'm happy with her the way she is. When I first got the Mary, I understood absolutely nothing about her mechanics. Now I understand at least twice as much. The Mary tried to teach me some knots. I think she likes passing on her knowledge to me. She said she'll try and teach pigs to fly next. Nope, I don't need to moor the Mary. She holds her position herself. Nope, I don't need to moor the Mary. She holds her position herself. Critter, what have you done now?
Evil.
Ivo's mother? Oh. Come on, let's get you out of there first. All right. Darn elven magic. Yes, I'll get help. Wait here. No trace of arbor, but he left this ball of string lying here. Perhaps he was going to tie up bushes with it or something. Shorty won't mind, I think. Critter attacked this beehive one night. He claims to this day that it was the sweetest triumph of his life. But it was 3 days before the swelling from the bee stings went down. I've never been very interested in plants, but there are things in this garden I've never seen anywhere else. Those 2 plants there, for example, it looks as though they're strangling one another. Damn elven magic! Hey, Critter, can't you somehow slip out of there? You can usually squeeze through most gaps. The thorns, I see. There's got to be a way. All right. It was worth a try. At school, I had a teacher who hit us across the fingers with something like that when we were naughty. I stayed the full 2 weeks nonetheless. Education is the key to success. We waited for ages until Ivo's mother finally left the palace. Then it was pool time. Critter and me cannonballed in from the balcony. Ivo was torn between outrage and laughter. That's strange. When I was here last, that tree looked a lot happier. People say the water has a healing effect. Perhaps I should take 1 or 2 barrels of it with me and sell it. The king and queen keep gifts given to them by delegations from far-off lands in this room. Some of them are rather bizarre. The top hat might have been a present from a kobold delegation, although it's a bit too big for that. The top hat... I nearly got arrested once because of a flower like that. I didn't know why they're forbidden almost everywhere, until I heard someone playing one for the first time. According to Ivo, these are swords belonging to some of those who have tried to conquer the woodland realm. Nowadays, everyone knows it's better not to pick a fight with elves. During my time here, I sat in this library many times enjoying a good book. Not. During my time, not. Critter claims he doesn't know Ollie, but the family resemblance can't be denied. Ollie used to be a bookmaker, got involved with the wrong people. Ivo says I just make all this up. I've only had dealings with a dragon once. The deer thing wasn't really all there, and completely harmless. I've never really understood why it's all right to cut off dragons' heads. Dragons are rational beings, not a nice tradition. I'll have to be careful. If the Queen catches me, there'll be no leniency.
I couldn't allow him to propose to you. What sort of life would you have? You'd have lost him so soon, maybe just 50 years after marrying him. Or were you planning to go into the world with him and get old just like him? That would be terrible, and I told him as much. If one truly loves someone, then it's sometimes better to let them go. You know that I can be very convincing. The human spirit is weak. And perhaps there was a tiny bit of magic involved too. If only I'd known that it was already too late.
That darn witch! It all sounded so right. I was already across the sea when it became clear to me that I might have made the biggest mistake of my life. No wonder Ivo hates me. Her mother must never have told her what happened, or she blamed me for everything. The Queen must have ordered the sentries to let the Mary pass. So long as she doesn't give any orders to the contrary, we should be able to enter and leave the woodland realm at any time. I think Ivo has never really got on with her mother, but she has always respected her. Her mother is very hard-working, very conscientious, very clever, but I think Ivo would have liked a bit more affection and warmth from her. When your girlfriend's mother is an elf priestess, and you want to make a good impression, you shouldn't call this a swimming pool in front of her. But I meant it in a good way. I even invited her and Ivo's father to join us. I had to listen to a quite long and, to be honest, slightly hostile lecture about this being a holy moon well. But what if your sweaty feet are longing for a cool down after a long day? What do you do then? My good arguments were ignored. I had to listen to a quite long, but my good... I don't know if I'd have been happy here with Ivo. This place is beautiful, of course, but nothing changes, or only unbelievably slowly. And who would want to live in his parents-in-law's house where time practically stands still? One day, Ivo's child will rule over all of this. I'll be long dead by then. It might have never heard of me. Bob is still sitting where I left him months ago. Of course, he's not really called Bob. but his elven name is too complicated and long to remember. And he likes Bob. Hey, Bob.
Nate, my boy. What are you doing here?
I rescued Ivo from Tugator, the flying pirate island, and brought her back here, more or less.
Oh, so you're getting on well again.
It's too late for that. Trust me.
It is never too late for that. Trust me.
Your wife has hexed Ivo, an imprisoned critter. I'll free both of them and
I would counsel you to patience, my impetuous friend. What has happened?
The Queen found Ivo in the garden. She's pregnant. Did you know that?
I hope that you are speaking of Ivo and not my wife. Of course I knew.
She's put Ivo into a kind of deep sleep.
Theodora knows wise decisions take time. It isn't a simple sleep. It's a kind of time out. For Ivo, time is standing still until her mother brings her back.
And when will that be?
As soon as she knows how she's going to deal with the situation. That could take months, or even years.
Years? She's got no right to do that. We have to bring Ivo back.
Just like the polecat butters the bread of the barn owl.
How can we wake Ivo up?
Without the help of her mother? Impossible.
Then we'll have to force her. She can't keep Ivo imprisoned against her will.
You won't have any luck. Fiora will defend her daughter. She thinks she's doing the right thing. But if you can make her see that she was not acting in Ivo's best interests, then I'm sure she would let her go.
I should talk to her?
Oh, you'd be dead before you'd stuttered out your first sentence.
Hey! I eavesdropped on the Queen. She never told Ivo what happened, right?
What happened? You just disappeared one night.
It was all your wife's fault. She hexed me. I was going to propose to Ivo. The Queen intercepted me and whispered something in my ear.
Her words would have just washed over you had they not found something which they were able to catch hold of.
I thought long and hard about whether I should propose to Ivo. I loved her, but I also loved my freedom.
Gods and the wise call that getting cold feet.
So she could manipulate me because of my feet?
She magnified your doubts and let you lose sight of what was really important, your love for Ivo.
But I didn't want her to have to watch me die. And I certainly didn't want her to come with me out into the world and grow old and die herself.
Would it have not been up to my daughter what sacrifices she would be willing to make for you? She is, after all, the more intelligent one.
After I left the Elfborough, my head still told me I'd done the right thing. I wouldn't condemn Ivo to a life with me, and a goodbye would have been too painful for both of us.
But your heart told you that you were a fool.
Later, I thought I'd found a solution. I'd find a way to live forever. Then I could marry Ivo and we'd never be separated.
Your heart was right. You are a fool.
Well, Archmage Alistair's been turned into a frog. By a certain Van Buren, some little brat who's running through Seastone and transforming everything.
A little girl transformed the Archmage?
Yes. No idea how she managed it. Ivo said something about Wilbur's wand. And he's in the Dark Woods looking for a book that explains how it can be destroyed. In the meantime, Ivo wanted to organize a few things needed to bring the Archmage back.
What sort of things?
Some book from Lorem Ipsum.
The Book of the Dead?
Yep, that was the one. Then we need a compass that belongs to the Red Pirate and something called the Spark of Life. That's why she came back here.
I see. It's crucial we turn Alistair back quickly. He might have answers.
Answers? To which questions?
Something is stirring. A great evil. I have felt it for a while now.
The little brat with the wand?
No. Something older, greater, and a great danger for you, for Ivo, for everyone.
That doesn't sound good. But I wouldn't even know where to start. Ivo didn't tell me very much. Or perhaps I didn't listen.
I have the spark of life here. I will give it to my daughter as soon as she wakes. I can't help you with the compass, though. But I saw the lost city of Lorem Ipsum with my own eyes, long, long ago.
If I were to look for Lorem Ipsum, where would I find the ruins of the city?
Under the sands of the Umzu Desert.
Oh, really? Could you be a bit more precise? The desert's pretty big.
I can't remember the exact location. I set out from the Bremen oasis, went into the desert, and just followed my nose. After a few days, I saw the golden roofs of the town glinting in the sun as it set behind them.
So Lorem Ipsum is west of Bremen. But how far into the desert? How many days did you walk, and how quickly?
It was 3,500 years ago. What did you do last Thursday?
West of Bremen. That's a start. Ivo seems to have coped well with me leaving her. Seems to have been in a rush to find herself an elven prince.
No, she didn't take it well. She was hurt and disappointed. And no, she didn't throw herself around the neck of any elf prince.
I don't even want to know. I'd always loved her, but it seemed to have been quite one-sided. Your wife trapped Critter in the garden. Some thorny tendrils grew out of the ground, imprisoning him.
Oh, an old trick that all priests have up their sleeve.
So novices couldn't sneak out of rituals early, eh?
But the tendrils are very ticklish, especially under the arms.
They... All right, then. Take care, Bob. I'll see what I can do to help Ivo and Alistair, or if I can.
I see a man with a mission of great importance that he would like to complete.
Like? All that work? All that danger? The stress? You've got the same attitudes towards stress as I have.
I can see through you, Nate. You made your decision long ago. You just haven't realized it. To do good. Be part of something bigger. Help others. We all need goals in our lives. And the greater the goal, the greater the reward.
I don't know what you're talking about, old man. Bob needs his sleep. I'm only supposed to disturb him if there's something new to report. The tree is legendary. I knew of it long before I met Ivo. The Tree of Life, as it's called, is attributed all kinds of powers. I was a little bit disappointed when I saw it for the first time. To me, it looks like a completely normal, tall tree. Not many mortals have seen the Tree of Life, and those that have were crowned heads or wise men. I've even sat in its shade next to the king and shared 1 or 2 bottles of apple wine with him. I mean, with the king. Tickle, tickle, tickle. No problem. Now you go and wait on the Mary, okay? Hey, Critter.
Huh?
You take over for a bit. I've got some thinking to do.
Gotcha! Boom! Neat! Shaila!
The Mary consumes huge amounts of coal for the oven, but primarily for the steam engine. The Miners Guild promised to give me free coal for the Mary for the rest of my life at the end of the war. When I reminded them, a rather grim-faced dwarf said that the whole thing was meant to be symbolic. Many promises were made in the rush of victory and later not kept. Provisions are low. If we sail around much longer, we'll have to get supplies from somewhere, or Critter will have to eat less. Tinned peaches. Oh, empty. The Red Pirate kept asking me again and again about his costumes when I was drinking with him. I didn't have the heart to tell him we used some of them as oil rags. A sailor's uniform with a hat and a duck beak made of card. Nope, they're not going to help me in the current situation. A rabbit costume with a fluffy tail and ears to match. I'd have liked to have seen Ivo in that. Unfortunately, the Critter never wanted to hand it over. A purple tentacle costume. It's Critter's, not the Red Pirates. Critter claimed it was actually useful once. It's hard to believe, but a whole cupboard full of costumes isn't gonna help me at the moment. Ivo tidied up here when we flew back from the Wildlands. At least that's what she called it. In reality, all she did was bring confusing order to my orderly disorder. Navigation isn't a complicated science. I choose a place on the map I'd like to fly to, then I tell the Mary the name of the place and she flies me there. I don't know why other people find it so difficult. All right then. That's the desert where Lorem Ipsum must be. Wait a minute. I must have a more detailed map of the area somewhere here. That's the old oasis of Bremen. Ivo's father set off westwards from this town and reached Lorem Ipsum at some point. The problem is, I don't know how far west of Bremen the ruins are. The area is large, and if I'm unlucky, the ruins are completely covered in sand. I have to reduce the search area somehow. That's the old oasis of Bremen. Ivo's father set off westwards from this town and reached Lorem Ipsum at some point. The problem is, I don't know how far west of Bremen the ruins are. The area is large, and if I'm unlucky... The Umzu Desert isn't all sand. There are stony mountains, gorges, and salt lakes. The one thing they have in common is that it's darn hot. Pile of maps, diaries, travelogues and stuff. I was looking for things that promise eternal life. The Holy Grail, Philosopher's Stone, the Fountain of Youth, that kind of thing. Harder to find than you'd think. That's why I had the idea with the djinn. At least I knew where to look for him. Wasn't there a book on Lorem Ipsum here? That's it. I like looking for lost things and solving long-hidden secrets. It's not really honest piracy, but Critter and I just want to be treasure hunters. People always think that pirates don't care about their appearance. But that's not true. We're just as sensitive as everyone else when it comes to what we look like. You finally managed to get a good beard going. Then people say you looked better without. I've seen alchemic lab benches and building sites with less stuff than this dressing table. Perfume atomizers, face powder, makeup? Nothing of any use at the moment. Perfume. This is the famous travelogue that reports on the city Lorem Ipsum, in a forgotten language. Scholars claim it speaks of life in the city and of huge wealth, the main reason that this text is so well known all around the world. Lorem Ipsum dolor sit emet, consectatur adipicici illit, sed eismod tempor insidunt ut labor et dolore magna aliqua, ut enim ad minim veniam quis nostrud exercitation ulamco laboris nisi ut aliquid ex ei commodi consequat, and so on. For me, this is just a string of meaningless words. This is the famous travelogue that reports on the city. The author of this diary never found the city, so I don't know if this picture of the city is born of his fantasy or if it's based on descriptions. Even if the city did once look like this, it perished thousands of years ago. There's surely nothing left but a few ruins. What are the chances that the Book of the Dead has survived? What's this? The author seems to assign great meaning to these hieroglyphs. If only I could read them. Why didn't the people back then just write under the pictures what they were supposed to mean? Lorem Ipsum dolor ut wonder whether... Here. That's what I was looking for. The book describes what the symbols mean. The first one is... a kind of angular stone? Gemstones, jewels. That's a promising start. The second symbol... Desert. Yeah, makes sense. The city is somewhere in the Amzu Desert. Next. Feet? What have feet got to do with it? Can you only reach the city by foot? The next symbol... 3. 3 feet. That's unusual. Perhaps the last symbol will make it clear. Mountains. Jewels, desert, mountains. The jewel of the desert at the foot of the 3 mountains. That's it. Lorem ipsum. The city with roofs of gold is the jewel of the desert, and it lies at the foot of 3 mountains. And these 3 mountains must be west of Bremen. That should be easy to find. All right, then. Three mountains west of Bremen. I bet Critter's next meal that the jewel of the desert is at the foot of these mountains. I'll mark the place on the big map. There hasn't been an airship visiting Lorem Ipsum for centuries, perhaps millennia, if ever. Time to pay a call to the old city. That must be it. Lorem Ipsum. And it looks like someone has already dug it up for us. According to legend, Lorem Ipsum had golden roofs. I can only see a pile of old stones. The whole slab is covered with characters. Hieroglyphs, something that looks like Old Dwarvish, and normal letters. At viro eos et accusum et justo duo doloris et ea rebum. That's the same forgotten language as in the Lorem Ipsum text. I found a very similar stone head in the Northlands and took it with me. But there's no way it could be from the same stonemasons. We're thousands of miles from the Northlands. The sand has protected the statues over the millennia. If they'd been exposed to the wind, there'd be nothing left of them but sand. A massive thing. I wonder if the mummy pulled it out here on his own. The little guy doesn't look that strong. Mummy with a small spade. I wonder.
Mortimer.
No, I'm Nate. That's Critter.
But I seek Mortimer.
Here? Under the sand?
Why aren't you Mortimer?
I, don't know. Who are you?
I am... Isn't the question more, who are you?
I'm Nate, like I already said.
So you are neither Mortimer nor that elf who was pretending to be Mortimer.
That... Yes, I can confirm that.
So many people. I can't possibly remember all these names. I will call you... Nate.
I can live with that. Who is this Mortimer you're looking for?
Mortimer fetched me out of the darkness many years ago. I lived with him until he disappeared.
And now you're looking for him here?
Looking for whom?
That Mortimer.
You've seen him? I've been looking for him everywhere.
Don't tell me you dug this huge hole.
All right.
I mean, why did you dig it?
I'm not meant to say.
You can tell me. What's the hole all about?
Yes, about that. Why did you dig it?
I didn't. You did.
Of course. I wanted to go home.
So you're from Lorem Ipsum?
Yes. It must be here somewhere.
Have you had a look around?
Ah! Lorem Ipsum! What a coincidence! I was born here, you know.
What can you tell me about Lorem Ipsum? What was life here like?
Oh, wonderful. We've always had good weather. We built the most beautiful temples with the most fiendish traps. Sold them all around the world and made a lot of money from that.
You sold temples with built-in traps?
Of course. Walls that suddenly come together and squash any intruder. Invented here in Lorem Ipsum. We had breeding programs for scorpions and tarantulas. And we issued a 3,000-year guarantee for our traps.
That means your traps could still work today?
Traps? What traps?
I'm looking for a book.
I've seen one lying on Mortimer's desk.
I'm looking for a particular book. The Book of the Dead.
Oh, but that's just a legend. That book apparently explains how one can bestow everlasting life on people by wrapping them up in gauze bandages.
Assuming it wasn't a legend, where would the Book of the Dead be hidden?
Ah, the Book of the Dead. Some say it is mere legend, but I have seen it many times. It was put into the tomb of the last pharaoh of Lorem Ipsum, the mad Tut-Tut.
And this Tut-Tut, where is he buried?
He is lying under a mighty pyramid, just like that one over there. Actually, now that I think about it, it's exactly like the one over there. What do you think? Why would someone put a pyramid here that looks exactly the same as Tut-Tut's?
How do you get into Tut-Tut's pyramid?
Who is Tut-Tut? And what's this pyramid you're talking about?
Ah, forget it.
What should I forget?
Don't mummies have their brains removed during embalmment?
That's funny. I could swear that I've heard that question somewhere before.
I bet. I found this stone slab. What does it say?
It says, "Thank you for your decision to buy this pyramid model World Wonder." In 3 languages.
It's an operating manual?
Our lost temples could get rather complicated.
Does it say how to open the pyramid?
Terms of use, guarantee, washing instructions. Ah, there. Erect pyramid facing exactly north. Position obelisk A in depression G on stone socket B with the help of wooden peg F. We recommend the use of slaves for erection, not included in this delivery. Every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the shadow of the obelisk will point to the stone which opens the secret entrance.
Why doesn't it just say which stone you have to press? Who would write something like this? I've got to go. And you? You might want to get out of the sun for a couple of hours.
I've not got time for breaks. I'm looking for a pyramid. It must be here somewhere.
A semicircular depression. There are lines and numbers carved into the stone on the inside. Perhaps some kind of calculation? Or something religious? I guess that's the obelisk mentioned in the operating manual. At least I can't see another one. A massive stone plinth with a piece of rotten wood in the middle. Without a replacement for the wooden pin, the obelisk won't stay on the plinth. How am I supposed to get the obelisk onto the pedestal? It must weigh at least a ton. No idea what that is. Hi.
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
So I should put obelisk B onto slab F, or something like that.
What are you talking about?
The instructions! At 3 o'clock, the shadow of the obelisk,
Why are you always saying things that don't make any sense? It's very irritating. Anyway, one also needs a bicycle, has to put 2 into the left-hand column, and then wait until the whole thing's been well roasted.
So I should put obelisk B onto slab F, or something like that.
What are you talking about?
The instructions! At 3 o'clock, the shadow of the obelisk,
Why are you always
The operating manual mentions something about a wooden pin, and there's some rotten wood still sticking in the hole in the stone plinth.
Yes, we always had issues with the wooden pegs. Wood is easy to craft, but not as long-lasting as stone. I discovered something completely new in Mortimer's hut. Metal.
Metal?
Yes, but not bronze. Much harder, much more durable. I called it ugly super bronze. I brought a sample of it with me.
This depression here, what is it?
That is a sun clock.
Why does the sun need to know what time it is?
No, the sun tells us how late it is.
So how does the sun know what time it is?
Haven't a clue. The shadow of the little stick in the middle tells us for definite when it is time to, do things.
There is no stick in the middle of the clock.
It must have been broken then. I think more has been broken too. Didn't it look completely different here before?
About the ugly super bronze.
The what?
The medal you found in Mortimer's house.
Who told you about that?
Ah.
One could build completely new types of weapons with this metal. Wood and bronze weapons would be useless. No one must find out until Lorem Ipsum has mastered the secrets of this material.
It is I, Pharaoh Tut-Tut.
Ah! The Pharaoh!
Yes, and I command you to give me the medal sample.
Wait a moment. The Pharaoh looked completely different to you.
It's been a long time since we saw each other last.
He's taller than you, and last time I saw him, he was dead.
I have to go. Hi.
Oh, hello.
You're right. Let's examine the medal for the good of Lorem Ipsum.
Absolutely. If we should ever get lazy and start to rest on our laurels, it could result in the town's downfall.
We, wouldn't want that to happen.
No. Wait here. What was I going to fetch again? I was just pulling your leg. I never forget anything.
Thank you.
What for?
So I should put obelisk B onto slab F, or something like.
What? Why are you anyway?
I've got to go.
Bye.